This is throwing part 2, opening, pulling, and finishing up the piece after we center the ball of clay. So we start from where we ended in the last video, where we centered the piece of clay. Now keep your wheel or start it up again to about medium to high speed. Again, don't go completely to max speed, and start raising the walls up again with your hands. Center the piece, make sure the piece is centered. So I'll go over centering a little bit more again. Squeeze the clay forward, push the clay forward with your hand. See the tilt, and once you have the tilt, then push it down. The tilt is very slight, you don't need too much force. Don't use excessive force to push it down, or you will have an uncentered piece of clay. Now again, keep practicing the centering, push it out of center, and then try recentering the piece as you're working on your piece. So when your piece is centered, nice and centered, bring your two thumbs in front of your body. Make sure again your hands are stable and relaxed, and push in a little bit with very gradual strength and start making the hole. Now see, I just used the two thumbs, nothing else, and pushed my hands down, or pushed my thumbs down. As you push, your clay is going to get dry, so add some more water. And now you saw I switched my left hand to the inside of the clay. So before, I had my two thumbs in front of my body. When I opened up the clay, I switched to my left hand on the inside and brought the clay out using my left hand, bringing it out while my right hand stayed on the outside. From here, we're going to pull the walls up. So the areas of the hands we're going to use are the fingertips of each pointing finger. See, my fingertips are also pointing down, and I'm pushing in on the wall at the bottom, and I'm bringing my hands slowly up. So bring my hands up very slowly, nice and smooth, and then relax at the top. Any excess water you should sponge up. And if your walls start going out like it is, if the top becomes wider than the bottom, then you can use your hands on the outside. And this technique is called collaring because it looks like you're holding a collar. And push slightly at the bottom and bring your hands up. Again, very relaxed and slowly to the top, and your piece should naturally start looking inside again. Now we have more clay at the bottom still, so use your hands, and again push from the outside first. And once you start pushing on the outside, then bring your inside hand together and bring your hands up slowly together in one motion. In one relaxed motion, slowly and gently up. It's natural that the clay starts to go wider out, so then collar your piece. And again, you see some water on the bottom. Use your sponge to suck the excess moisture out. It's important to suck the moisture out. Leaving the moisture in there will make your base weaker. It could result in cracks at the bottom later on, even after the piece is fired. So there's a basic cylinder. It took me 2 pulls. It might take you more. Once you get better, it takes you less and less pulls. 1 pull is 1 motion from pushing at the bottom and bringing the clay up. So I did twice, but you might want to do it a couple more times. Eventually you'll be able to control the clay much better, so you can do it in a few pulls. Now another thing, if you notice, is I slowed down the wheel, now very slowly, but even before when I was starting my pulls, to about low to medium speed. So speed is an important factor. You want your speed to be a little slower than when you were centering the wheel. That gives you more control, and there's less error when you slow down the wheel. Now cleanup. Once you have a cylinder, then you want to clean up the sides at the very bottom as much as you can before you take it off of the wheel. So use your wood stick tool and start from the top. There should be a slope like the foot of a mountain at the bottom. It should be wider at the bottom than the top of your cylinder. So to get rid of that, you start at the top and bring your wood stick tool down and shave off the excess clay at the bottom. Now use your rib tool, which comes in your kit. You have a aluminum looking stainless steel rib, and use it in your left hand as such, holding it with your thumb and four fingers on the other opposite side, and you can clean up all the excess goop called slip, and also make the form a little smoother, the line of your form, by using the rib to go over the piece. The left hand should be on the inside to support your right as you do this. Your left and right hand should always be on the opposite side with the wall of the clay in between. If your hands are a little off, if one is a little higher, one if it is a little to the left or right of your hands, it doesn't work that well. You need your hands directly opposite of each other for your strength to transfer correctly and for your strength to correctly move the clay up without making it waver and throw it off of center. So what I did was clean up the bottom a little more, and now I'm using my fingers and sponge to smooth the top, the lip of the piece. We call the top ring the lip of the piece. That's the last thing you want to do. And again, I slowed down my wheel. Now it's coming to a halt. What you need now is your wire tool. So you can find this also in your toolkit. Bring it as tight as you can around your piece. I'm holding it very close, and slide it through. You can pull the wire towards you or away, but I like pulling it away so I don't splash myself. Clean off your hands. Make sure they're not slippy. I keep a towel around me so I can dry it. Make sure they're clean, okay? And lift it with the bottom of your hands. And you can put it on a workboard or any surface where you're keeping your pieces. So now I'm going to show you a different angle of the whole process. So after you're done with one piece and you cut off the piece, then you can start straight to the next ball of clay without cleaning up the wheel head. The remaining clay can actually stay on the wheel and actually works very nicely. It sticks your next ball of clay much better than just the wheel head. Now again, add water. Start centering your clay. Make sure it's stuck to the wheel too. Use your pinky and lower hands to make sure you apply pressure at the bottom and seal the clay. Now centering again from opposite angle from where I'm sitting. I'm pushing with the palm of my hand, the bottom part of my thumb. As I push forward, now my fingers in front are bracing the clay, and when I want to bring the clay up, I squeeze with the bottom of with the fingers as I apply pressure from the palm of my hand, and that brings it up. I bring it down, pushing it down with the palm of my hand, and slowly relax out. So I'm just doing that repeatedly right now. Just be aware of how stable my hands are. And now I've gone in with my thumbs, opened up the hole, and you see I switched to my left hand on the inside to open up the inside base, very straight at the bottom and wider out. Now I'm using my left hand on the inside, right hand on the outside, and brought up the walls. So this part is called pulling. I'm going a little faster now because you've seen it once. And again, I'm pushing at the bottom. You see that ring that I formed? That's the clay that I'm bringing up. And slowly relax. Now you see it's wobbling a little bit. This much wobble you can fix later. Don't get upset. And again, first time, or maybe the first, 10, 20, 30 times even, you might not get a completely centered cylinder. But that's okay. Keep on practicing. And a little bit of off-centeredness again doesn't hurt. So see, I'm getting off a little bit, but I'm not panicking. I'm relaxing my hands, being calm, bringing my hands up all the way up, and then slowly relaxing. See how slowly I exit out of my piece. Now, if you panic and take your hands off really quickly, that's going to make it worse, and your piece is going to wobble and decenter very quickly. Again, when you need excess water, use the sponge to release water, and any water that's in the piece, you always want to suck it up when you notice a puddle in your piece. Now, the top again became wider than the bottom, so I'm using my hands on the outside. Again, this technique is called collaring, to collar the clay. And you see the width at the top became more narrow, and I needed more water, so I added more water. And now I'm slowly starting at the bottom, again collaring the piece and making the cylinder more straight. So the width at the top was bothering me, it was too wide, so I brought it in by collaring from the outside. Again, I used water, and it's okay to use water. Just suck up the water every time you notice it, a puddle on the inside. And you can adjust many times like this to get the form you want. Try to get at least one straight cylinder. Show me that you can control your clay. And now I'll show you how to finish the top. So the top is wobbling a little bit. It's going up and down. So this is where the needle tool comes in handy. Make sure the needle tool is wet. Brace it with your right hand. If you're right-handed, right hand holds the needle. Left hand braces it like you're shooting pool, and you slowly just let the needle touch until it starts cutting, and then keep on pushing it through until the needle comes out. Then bring both of your hands up together with the needle, and a ring of clay comes off. So as long as you enter the needle tool nice and flat, then you can get a flat top at the top of your cylinder. You want to make sure that the top is as flat as you can for the next process, which is called trimming, where you're going to put the piece upside down on the wheel and finish the bottom of the piece. Now I'm using the rib tool again. Yours is going to be more stainless steel colored, more like silver, and I'm sliding it. I'm using it on the outside to scrape off the excess clay, the slip, and to clean off the shape.